Hello and welcome to the Art of Investing. Renowned economist and investor Ray Dalio has stated that the New World Order will bring an unprecedented economic recession, mainly due to three problems for which we are not prepared. In fact, he said that these three challenges we face are the most important of our lives. According to Ray Dalio, an economic war is brewing that would lead to the decline of the United States and its allies in favor of China. He has even given an exact date when he thinks the economic landscape will change dramatically. This will have important consequences on the value of money, on our investments, and even on currencies such as the dollar. Whether you invest in the stock market or not, this video will be useful to you, since we cannot remain on the sidelines of this new scenario that Ray Dalio presents to us. In this video, I will also show you the reasons that lead Ray Dalio to think that we are approaching this important economic change. I will also show you the recommendations that Ray Dalio has given to protect our savings and our investments in this new economic panorama that this new world order will generate. Ray Dalio has great influence and economic power globally. He is a regular at the Davos Forum meetings and is the founder of the largest hedge fund in the world, with more than $100 billion in assets under management. He has gained considerable fame in the financial markets, and his opinions are highly respected for having been able to navigate important economic crises such as those of 2000 and 2008. He recently condensed this new scenario that he presents to us in his new book, The New World Order, in which there will be serious economic changes and we will have to be prepared to act. In one of the few interviews he gives each year, he explained the date on which he believes these important changes will begin and the reasons that lead him to think this way. I'll show you below. In this interview with the prestigious CNBC, he mentioned that these three forces are the biggest he has ever seen in his life. In fact, every time these three problems have occurred simultaneously, we have experienced economic recessions and major changes that have historically destroyed empires and some of the world's major currencies. First of all, there is a problem of class struggle between capitalism and communism, between the haves and the have-nots, and both sides want to win at all costs. In this way, we can already deduce that the first problem that worries Ray Dalio is the social difference and how this gap is becoming larger, which will generate tensions in the future. In the following graph, we can see how 1% of the American population increasingly owns more wealth, while the poorest 50% increasingly owns less wealth and fewer assets. In fact, the recent inflation crisis we have experienced has increased this difference between classes, because those people who do not own assets, the poorest 50%, do not have investments such as stocks or real estate that, to a certain extent, protect us against inflation and that have borne all the effects of this problem. Before moving on to the second problem, I want to remind you that if you like this video, you can give it a like and subscribe to the channel by activating notifications so that this community we are creating has the widest possible reach and more people can learn to invest or manage their savings. Secondly, the next problem that Ray Dalio mentions is the huge amount of debt that both the United States and Europe have. In fact, he explains that there is less and less demand for US debt and he considers American bonds to be a very risky investment. Two things will happen: either the interest rates on the debt we have to pay will rise, or the state will have to print more money. Ray Dalio explains how this problem is connected to the first one, since if the solution of printing more money is chosen to solve each new recession, it will end up generating a higher level of inflation, which, again, will increase the difference between those who have and those who do not have. In fact, at this point Ray Dalio makes the following prediction for the future: in 5 years we will see a totally different world than today due to the rise of China, the class struggle and the debt bubble we are experiencing. Technological changes occurring in the world, such as artificial intelligence, can lead to totally unpredictable scenarios. In this way, we can already deduce the date that Ray Dalio is considering, where everything could change in a very significant way. Below, I will show you the recommendations that he has given to small investors to navigate this complex environment. Before continuing, I want to remind you that if you are interested in learning how to invest and improve your returns in the stock market, I recommend that you subscribe to the waiting list in the description of this video, where we will notify you about future calls for the Art of Investing courses. Thirdly, the next problem that Ray Dalio warns us about is the rise of China and how the United States would be entering a decline, which would significantly affect the value of the dollar and its role as the world's reserve currency. According to Ray Dalio, for the past 70 years, the United States has dominated the international political landscape, controlling institutions such as the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund. But this is about to change. In the following graph attached by Ray Dalio, you can see how the United States would be entering the decline phase, characterized by high levels of debt, social struggles and currency devaluation, while China, on the other hand, would be in the ascending phase of wealth creation and debt accumulation. Given this new situation, the CNBC interviewer asked what small investors can do to navigate this complicated environment. He replied, "You have to look at your investments in a holistic way. First, you need to prevent your money from losing value due to inflation. The only way is to invest." So since money printing started, the value of assets like stocks and gold has risen due to the creation of new debt and new money. You don't want to have things that you think are safe, like liquidity. At this point we can see how Ray Dalio clearly advises against investing in those investments that seemed the safest until now, such as fixed income and liquidity, because their value will normally fall in the face of inflation scenarios such as the one Ray Dalio anticipates. However, real assets for which there is always demand, such as stocks, real estate investments or even gold, should perform much better on a relative basis in this new scenario proposed by Ray Dalio. In fact, below I will show you a series of stocks that Ray Dalio is currently investing in. The second piece of advice he gave is that we are going to live in a totally different world, with a lot of uncertainty and risks. For this reason, it is important to learn to diversify without reducing your return expectations. Good diversification can reduce your risk by 80%. In this sense, Ray Dalio has always recommended investing the majority of our portfolio in both national and international stocks. In fact, Ray Dalio popularized the portfolio management theory called the 4 Seasons. If you want to learn more about this powerful tool, I recommend you watch the video we created at the time and that I leave here below. In the following image from Whale Wisdom, you can see Ray Dalio's latest published portfolio, and we can see that his preferred sector to invest in right now is technology, as he is buying shares in companies such as Google, Facebook, Microsoft, or Visa. On the other hand, on the sales side, we see that the banking sector predominates, with stocks such as Bank of America or JP Morgan, given that they are the sectors most sensitive to the economic cycle and are surely trying to avoid problems that could appear in the future. In fact, if we look deeper into Ray Dalio's portfolio, he is being consistent with what he is stating in this interview for CNBC. Ray Dalio typically has a very large portion of his portfolio in debt or long-term bonds. However, we now see that their main positions are in stocks. Another sector that Ray Dalio really likes for this environment, if we look at his portfolio, is the stable or defensive consumer companies, which would be businesses like Procter & Gamble, Walmart, Coca-Cola, or Pepsi. Before we move on to see what other investments Ray Dalio is making, I want to remind you that if you are enjoying this video, you can give it a like and share it with someone else who might find it useful. Likewise, you can subscribe to the channel by activating notifications to continue learning about the stock market and investments. It is also important to remember that these are not recommendations to buy or sell, and that my goal is for you to learn how to invest for yourself. In this way, you have to be responsible with your buying or selling decisions. An asset that Ray Dalio has also invested in is the Russell 2000 Small Caps ETF, which includes the top 2,000 small-cap companies in the United States and is listed under the ticker IWM at a current price of $190 per share. In the following chart below, you can see that when interest rates fall and liquidity increases in the system, these small-cap stocks tend to perform better than the market average and better than large companies. In fact, the famous Morningstar publication has just published a list of what it considers to be the 10 best small-cap stocks to buy and hold for the future. I'll leave it to you in the link that you can find in the description. I hope you found this video useful and that these tips from Ray Dalio will help you navigate future economic scenarios. If you want me to continue creating similar content in future videos, let me know in the comments.